gonna get crazy, baby. And still.
Ringside Network goes toe-to-toe with 24 hours of the sweet science. Get the action, insight, and backstories behind the game on boxing around the globe. Hello and welcome to our show. I'm Brian Jenkins alongside my Ringside Network partner, Dee Dee Mann.
We're coming to you from the boxing capital of the world, Philadelphia, PA, the city that has launched and sustained many a famous boxer's career. Long before the fictional Rocky Balboa climbed the now legendary 72 steps outside Philadelphia's Art Museum, the city was a boxing staple among the greats like Joe Frazier, Joey Giardello, Jolton Jeff Chandler, Benny Briscoe, Willie the Worm Monroe, and many others. They're part of a tradition dating back to the 1940s when Philly became known as the place where the toughest of the tough learned the sweet science in rough and tumble gyms. The Ringside Network comes to you in that tradition with a pledge to bring you the best boxing up close, personal, and pure.
Starting right here, right now with today's show. Straight ahead, a look forward at some of boxing's biggest bouts on the horizon. We'll also place the most popular fighters side by side and see how they stack up next to one another, pound for pound. And later on, boxer Jesse Hart will stop by to chat about being one of the best upcoming boxers, and he'll talk about his goals for this year. But first, round one, a walk on the Wilder side, as in Deontay Wilder. The heavyweight champion is looking to solidify his standing among boxing's big men. Wilder's fresh off a sensational victory over Arthur Szpilka. Took place last month. Fans at Brooklyn's Barclays Center saw that. The champ delivered a devastating right hand in the ninth that rendered Szpilka unconscious and sent him off in an ambulance.
The Szpilka knockout brought Wilder a step closer to the match sports fans really are primed for. A fight between Wilder and European sensation Tyson Fury. With Wilder versus Szpilka barely finished, the 27-year-old Gypsy King stormed into the Barclays Center ring and started trading insults with Wilder. Fury could be heard shouting that he'd beat Wilder, quote, anytime, any place, anywhere. He even called Wilder a bum. To which Wilder replied, you can run around like you're a preacher, but I promise you, when you do step in this ring, I will baptize you. Fury says in his eyes he's the undisputed champion, and he can't wait to prove it. Wilder would like nothing more than to defend his title against Tyson Fury. For his part, Fury has some unfinished business to handle with one-time opponent Vladimir Klitschko, who is obligated to fight in a rematch. Fury is the recognized champion, and beating him would unify the belts. But before Wilder faces Fury, Fury would likely face Klitschko in a rematch of their previous bout. You may recall Fury surprised the boxing world by taking down Klitschko. In that fight, the 39-year-old Klitschko looked dreadful. He landed a horrendous 23% of his 231 punches in their November 28th fight in Germany. And then there's Canelo Alvarez, the 25-year-old Mexican superstar. With his win over Miguel Cotto, Alvarez has elevated himself to a new status and is looking to take on all comers. Looming large in his sights, Gennady Golovkin, the dreaded Triple G. The 33-year-old from Kazakhstan is coming off his own big win on October 17th. In that fight, he unified the WBA and IBF middleweight titles, beating the Canadian slugger David Lemieux. With a 34-0, 31 knockout record, Golovkin is fearsome. Alvarez has a more than respectable 46-1 and 1 record with 32 knockouts. The thought of the two-star fighters has promoters salivating, thinking this could be one of the most lucrative fights the sport has seen.
And we're all certainly waiting for that one. Meantime, with not quite the same purse, but a strong appeal nonetheless, there's good news on the horizon about welterweight Amir Khan possibly facing off against Kell Brook. Now that really is the fight that British fans want to see, and it's looking very much like it'll happen this year. But before the two can face each other, each has unfinished business to attend to. First includes Brook defending his IBF welterweight title against Kevin Brazier in March. For his part, Khan is the mandatory challenger to the WBC title, which Danny Garcia won by beating Robert Guerrero last month. As the smoke from those two clears, the long-awaited Amir Khan-Kell Brook match seems much more certain. Super middleweight world champion Andre Ward is settling into the light heavyweight division and eyeing his much-anticipated bout with Sergey Kovalev. Those two fighters are on course to meet in the fall for what's expected to be one of the most significant fight events of the year. 31-year-old Ward has moved up in weight and he's fighting at 175 pounds. He and Kovalev are under contract to HBO, which has signed each of them to multiple fight deals. Both Ward and Kovalev must win their intervening bouts, and once they do, that showdown will happen. That likely will elevate the winner into the cadre of the best pound-for-pound boxers. Joining us now to talk about those fights and give them some context is resident boxing expert Alex Hamer. Alex, thanks for joining us. This has got to be a big year for fight fans.
Thank you, Brian. This will be a big year for fight fans. 3 fights immediately come to mind. The heavyweight division, we have Deontay Wilder. In the middleweight division, we have Canelo Alvarez. And in the light heavyweight division, we have Sergey Kovalev. Let me start with the heavies, the big boys. Wilder will fight Vladimir Klitschko or Tyson Fury. The fans really want to see Tyson Fury. Everyone saw how he jumped in the ring after the Arthur Spilker fight and challenged Deontay Wilder. That's going to be a fight that fans are really looking forward to.
And really spicing up the heavyweight division as well.
The heavyweight division will be spiced up. Let me get to Canelo Alvarez out of Mexico. He's truly a rock star, okay? He has millions and millions of fans around the globe, from South America, through North America, and through Europe. Sergey Kovalev will probably fight, not probably, but will fight Andre Ward in 2016. Andre Ward is signed with Rock Nation. This will be your blue-collar Russian fighter versus the hip-hop star Andre, the Son of God Ward. And those 3 fights for 2016 will be very, very intriguing to the boxing world.
And Alex, who's your favorite of these?
I kind of like Deontay Wilder. He'll force his personality on the opponent and force his will on the opponent and be able to win. So Deontay Wilder is my pick.
When boxing around the globe continues, we'll see how the current crop of boxers stacks up against one another. Then later, we'll have a word with boxing's rising star, Jesse Hardwork Hart.
Trivia question: who was the first boxer to knock down Muhammad Ali in his professional career? Was it Pernell Whitaker, Joe Frazier, John Henry Lewis, or Sonny Banks?
From a business perspective, what would you anticipate, Joe, if he's the victor after going forward?
Oh, I mean, look, it's been a great ride now. It keeps mushrooming and snowballing out. People are they know who he is. He's been able to show the character that he has inside and outside of the ring, the winner that he is. But beating Manny Pacquiao makes him not just a star or a growing star, but a superstar.
Exactly.
Really, he can become the next face in boxing.
Right.
And that's what a win like this does.
And our trivia question: who was the first boxer to knock down Muhammad Ali in his professional career? The answer, D, Sonny Banks.
And now, round 2. It's the question everyone wants an answer to. Who's the best boxer around? Brian, care to weigh in on this?
I've got an opinion just like everyone else does, but that's a tough call. Lots of good talent out there. RSN put together a group of boxing experts who came up with a list of top 10 fighters pound for pound. Joining us now to share those rankings is RSN's Charisma McElwain. And Charisma, first off, for the novices out there, how do we rank boxers?
Well, Brian and Dee, that's a very good question. You rank fighters in several ways, according to their body of work, their competition, how decisive their win was, the fighter's popularity, the economic impact of their fight, the number of titles they have, and intangibles like work ethic.
Wow, lots to consider.
Indeed.
All right, well, let's get started. Let's talk about number 10.
Number 10 is Tim Bradley, aka Desert Storm. The 32-year-old Bradley is a two-time WBO welterweight champion, a two-time former WBC light welterweight champion, and former WBO light welterweight champion as well. RSN ranks him at 10 due to his loss to Manny Pacquiao.
Who do we have at number 9?
That would be Jesse Hardwork Hart. You probably would have him a bit higher on the list if his body of work was just a bit more substantial. Number 8 is Vasyl Lomachenko. Many consider him to be one of the most skilled fighters in the sport today, and some would even argue he's the greatest amateur boxer of all time. He's won Olympic gold in 2008 and 2012, and he's got international experience to spare, so this is definitely one of boxing's bright lights. Manny Pacquiao is coming in at number 7. Overall, this is still one of boxing's best pound for pound, and Pacquiao has won championships in 7 different weight classes, from featherweight to junior middleweight. So you could make the argument that he should be higher on the list, but ultimately we placed him here thanks to the loss to Mayweather and his 2012 loss to Juan Manuel Marquez.
And we're still scratching our heads over that one. Of course, at 37 years old, Pacquiao is in the twilight of his career, and he's still moving along. We'll see what he does to cap it off. Next on the list.
Next on the list is Terrence Crawford at number 6. Even though you don't normally hear a lot of fighters coming out of Omaha, there still might be a bunch of people that don't know or haven't heard of Crawford, but believe me, this boxer is the truth. At 27-0 with 19 KOs, he's one of boxing's rising stars, albeit quietly rising. This 27-year-old WBO junior welterweight has lots of potential and is definitely one to watch.
Since his breakout year in 2013, he's been steadily on the move. Charisma, I expect more people will have something to say about Omaha and about him in the months ahead. Now, our next fighter isn't also from Omaha, is he?
No, not at all, DD. Andre, Son of God, or SOG Ward, hails from the Bay Area in California, where it's nice and sunny.
SOG, the Ring Magazine's super middleweight champion.
Yes, the former WBC, WBA lineal champ, who is represented by Jay-Z's Rock Nation, is going to be a well-promoted big name and personality on the march. With 28 wins and no losses to go, with his 15 knockouts, this is someone with serious skills who's poised to make a bigger name for himself. This 31-year-old is a good technician, a former gold medalist at the 2004 Olympics, and Ward is very much on the comeback trail after spending most of 2013 nursing injuries and being inactive in 2014.
No question, he's someone we'll want to keep our eyes on and watch how well he returns to form. Of course, just one word standing in the way of his legacy, Kovalev. We'll see how that comes out.
Ouch. Number 4, I'm going to say this only once, so listen very closely. Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan.
You nailed it.
Did I?
Canelo Alvarez.
Yes, Canelo Alvarez. The red-maned Mexican superstar who's lighting up the boxing world. He's got 46 wins against 1 loss, and 32 of his wins were by knockout. That 1 loss, by the way, was to Floyd Mayweather. The Russian Sergey Kovalev occupies the number 3 spot.
Kovalev is the light heavyweight champion of the world.
Yes, that he is effectively. He holds all the major belts but 1 in his weight class. He's a 32-year-old with 28 victories, all but 3 of those were by knockout.
And it's worth pointing out that with Kovalev's amateur record, 193-22.
Wow.
This is somebody who's been prolific, a fearsome fighter for a very long time. We're just about at the top of our list, but not before we share number 2, Charisma.
Number 2 is Nicaragua's Roman Gonzalez, better known as Chocolito.
Well, some have Chocolito ranked at number 1. He might get a little upset about this.
You know, I think you're right, Brian, but after all, who doesn't like Chocolito? At just 28 years old, Chocolito Gonzalez has 193 rounds of boxing in him and has emerged victorious all of the 44 times he stepped into the ring. 38 of this flyweight's opponents have fallen by knockout. And at number 1, drum roll please, is Triple G.
The dreaded Triple G, Gennady Golovkin.
dread it if you're squaring off against him in the ring for sure. A staggering 91% of this 33-year-old middleweight's 34 fights, or 31 of them, have concluded in a knockout. Triple G was born in Kazakhstan, and apparently he tries to knock each of his opponents back there. Winning the majority of his bouts decisively. In a word, Triple G is fearless.
He certainly is. He has earned that title in every fight. Thanks, Charisma. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, as Dee Dee mentioned earlier in the segment, one of the fighters included in our list is Jesse Hart.
As luck would have it, he just happens to be here with us in our studio today. When we return, Brian and Jesse will have a little chat.
Harold, Alex Hammer from Ringside Network. I wanted to get your opinion on Sergey, the Russian that's going to fight Bernard Hopkins on November 8th. Can you tell us what you think about that preliminarily?
Sergey Kovalev is probably the hardest hitter in boxing today. Huge puncher. The guy's got a right hand that'll just knock you dead. And, you know, he's been knocking out everybody. And not only that, he's been knocking out everybody in the early rounds, too. You know, Nathan Cleverly and all the guys he's fought recently, Ismail Salak, you know, decent fighters, and he's just been bowling them over.
Right.
I mean, he's undefeated. He only has one draw on his record.
Right.
I think he's 25-0. And, you know, 23 knockouts. So you can't argue with his power. Of course, he's never fought a guy that you know, is a good defensive fighter that's going to hit him back.
Welcome back to Boxing Around the Globe. We're joined now by Jesse Hart. He is the USBA super middleweight champion, on our list of top 10 best fighters pound for pound. Thanks for coming on and joining us today, Jesse. Appreciate having you.
Man, it's a pleasure.
Let me ask you this. In the boxing game, you know, you toil in the gym and you got so much competition out there. You had the advantage, and let me ask you if it's an advantage. Last year, you fought Aaron Pryor Jr. They say that politics and promotion is what determines who gets the shot. And you both had big names. You both had dads with big names. Did that help elevate your career to get you in the mindset of the boxing world?
Well, I believe it did. You know, all the pressure was on the both of us as being sons of two legendary champions such as Aaron Pryor Jr. and my dad, Cyclone Hart. It was just such a big thing for the boxing world because you had two sons, fathers that fought in that 15-round era. I had a lot of pressure on me just from my own father.
I can imagine. You were talking about the fact that he was number 3, where you are now,
right,
and that he stopped short of chasing the championship.
Right.
Do you get a sense that he's put that on you?
Yes, I think that's what he wanted me to take it further than he did. And he keeps saying that I got complacent when I was number 3, and I want you to take it further than I did, son. And that's the goal, to be champion now. You know, I got the number 3, now you number 3, but you're going to be the champion of the world. I'm not going to let you get civilized. But my dad, he always say, man, I want you to be better than me. I want you to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Now you got one fight ahead of you that determines who you fight for the championship, correct?
Right. March 18th, I'll be fighting here in Philadelphia. You know, and that determines what I'll be fighting for the title after March. Whoever wins out of Gilberto Ramirez and Aldo Abraham, that's who I will be fighting sometime in the fall.
All right. Well, good luck. You ready?
More than ready. Can't wait to get in there.
We'll be watching you.
Thanks
for joining us. Appreciate it.
2015 was a great year for boxing, and some moments from last year still have us talking about them and setting up for great storylines this year.
Starting with the fight of the year between Francisco Vargas and Takashi Miura. Vargas, a messy right eye. Vargas appeared on his way to defeat. He was badly beaten when he rallied for an amazing comeback. In electrifying fashion, Vargas knocked out Miura in the 9th round to win a junior lightweight world title on the Miguel Cotto Canelo Alvarez undercard at the Mandalay Bay Events Center. It was one of Vargas's 17 KOs, who is 23-0 and 1.
That was a great fight, but the best knockout of the year came during the Canelo-Kirkland match. May 9th, Canelo Alvarez hooked up with power brawler James Kirkland in front of a raucous 31,000-plus crowd at Houston's Minute Maid Park, and they did not disappoint. It was a slugfest that concluded violently with Alvarez destroying Kirkland with one whopper of a right hand. The shot connected with Kirkland's jaw and spun him halfway around into the ropes and sent him crashing to the canvas. Kirkland required medical attention and was taken to the hospital for precautionary reasons.
Our fighter of the year is Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. We mentioned him, of course, in the last segment as one of our pound-for-pound best boxers. Gonzalez is the current WBC and the Ring Magazine flyweight champion. He's also laid claim to the WBA light flyweight and WBA minimum weight championships. At 28 years old, he's stepping now into his prime.
And last on our list, John David Jackson is our trainer of the year.
You know, Floyd's not the fighter he once was. He's still good. But not the fighter he once was when he beat Corrales years ago.
Right.
He's not flighty. He's not as quick on his feet like he used to be.
Right.
He's still got a lot of ring savvy, but he's slipping. So you got to watch him and take the things that he's been slipping off of and work off that. Those would be your strengths. And he has gaps now. Before he was airtight, but he's still a better fighter. But if the money's there, you got to take it.
Boxing Around the Globe continues right after this.
I have only one strategy: get my next win. And that's it. Yeah.
So your answer is it doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get it.
Yeah, doesn't matter, like
Right.
score decision, knock him out, like
Just
anyway,
decision,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
It will be even interesting if it will be a long distance, like it will be good action.
Well, that's it for today's show. Whether it's around the corner, across the nation, or overseas, you'll find it right here on RSN's Boxing Around the Globe. For Dee Mann and Charisma McElwain, I'm Brian Jenkins. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you ringside.
Get the backstories behind the game, shared by the inside players who made their names, straight out of the city that gave boxing its fame. The Ringside Network, going toe-to-toe with 24 hours of the sweet science.